What's up, my YouTube page? Today is Monday, July 11th. It is 11:17 in the morning. I'm here in the office. I'm working on something that I'm not happy to be working on. I don't have that much battery. But it's something that needs to get done because yeah, it's very important. I could lose my daughter if I don't do this because I'm being sued by the stupid Texas Attorney General's office on behalf of the Child Support Office of Laredo, Texas. Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly, if I'm being sued based off of some kind of technicality that had to do with communication issues or errors, or if this is actually like a discriminatory suit that I was targeted on just because of the fact that we receive Medicaid. Because a lot of the people that I talked to on the phone when I was trying to close this case that I had originally opened with the Child Support Office, a lot of them kept telling me that it might be because of the Medicaid, that the case might have been flagged for that, which I don't understand why. I mean, I can understand if there was some kind of like claim against us or complaint by somebody that we were abusing it or we were, not using it properly in some way, but we haven't. We've been using it properly and we've needed it. So to me, this just seems like a discriminatory automatic type of suit that went through just to try and get money out of us, because essentially that's what they're asking for is money, but they're doing it under the threat of taking away conservatorship from me to my child and my husband and his child, our child. And that is very upsetting to me. I know I seem very calm right now when I'm talking about it, but the rage about this whole thing is like deep seated within my heart, my chest right now, and I've come a long way in my rage issues, and I've really learned how to control them a lot better. So, and also I know that they're not gonna get my daughter. Like, I know how to do this paperwork. It doesn't intimidate me at all. I'm not intimidated by this because I understand how it is. I don't even really need, I have lawyers also that are helping me with it, but I don't even really need their help. I could do it by myself. I've gone to court before on my own without ever being trained as a lawyer or ever, having a lawyer's assistance, and I won my court case alone. I've done it several times already for my own. When we got into a car accident, this girl hit us one time. When I had my license suspended, I think, and I had to go fight to get it unsuspended. When I had another time that some assholes tried to gyp us for like 200 and some bucks that we had agreed on some cards, some Pokemon cards that we traded with them, bartered with them. They didn't want to pay us the rest, and so we went to court and we won. And I've helped other people as well with their court case. I helped my ex-mother-in-law, help her make arrangements on some credit card bills that she had. They were threatening to garnish her wages, and she was really, really scared about it, and I helped her do it right away so that she could go and represent. And obviously they have to represent themselves pro se by themselves, which means that I can't go and argue for them in court, but I can help them get whatever proper paperwork they need, and give them my opinion as to what I think the best way is to go. Obviously, it's not advice, it's just my opinion based off of my own personal experiences on things, and I always let them know that ahead of time. I can't, as a paralegal, I cannot give legal advice, so I don't ever advise them on what they should do. I just tell them their options, and then they can go ahead and pick their own options. And I give them my own experiences. But yeah, so I'm not intimidated by this at all, but it still pisses me off because I know that there are a lot of people out there, on Medicaid, a lot of parents that would be terrified when receiving these papers. Like, it's intimidating if you don't know, what all of this means. It's like, what order hearing, what, okay, and I have to go, now there's all this online stuff, so you have to put that into consideration too, you're just reading it like, what is all this, and it's saying stuff. All of this shit is actually saying stuff. They're saying, we want these papers, you give us these papers, if not, then you're gonna be having your rights as a parent threatened and your money taken from your paychecks by force. Essentially, that's what it's saying. Well, they're asking the judge to have that done, and they, the way they do it is sneaky too. The way they write it upsets me, like how they lay this out. Because if you notice, it says here, this is gonna be read back, or you're gonna see it backwards. So, I'm not gonna do that. But where does it say? Yes, so there it is. It's okay. You have been sued. You may employ an attorney. If you or your attorney do not file a written answer with the clerk who issued the citation by 10 a.m. on the Monday next following the expiration of 20 days after you were served the citation, original petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship, AOP, and order setting hearing virtual, a default judgment may be taken against you. So that's, like, it's all very confusing. It's like a fucking huge run-on sentence, and I feel like they do that on purpose just so you could fucking be confused. But anyways, it's saying that if you don't, you have until Monday, the next following Monday after 20 days passes, that you were served this citation. So, it has all these dates on it, but the one that you want to look at is the one that says the process was received on, because the process, that's the serving. That's when they served you. So whatever that day says, that is the day that the timeline starts for the 20-day period. And, if you don't read that and you just go here to where it says remote hearing, or if you just skip over it and don't understand it, and then you read this and it says remote hearing conducted through Zoom and it's scheduled for the 8th of September, well, then you think, okay, well, I have until the 8th of September to get, to get my shit together on this and answer. But that's not the case. The timeline that you have to answer is by the 20 days, on that next Monday after the 20 days. And if you don't answer, then you might lose your right to your child, and they could put a default judgment on you, which means that that hearing in September won't even matter because you'll already have lost your case, essentially. So, it's real upsetting that they do that to everyday, like, people that they know, like, aren't going to be able to fight back, essentially. Or if they do, it's going to be really, really hard for them. In most cases, not in my case, obviously, but in most cases, that's how it's going to be. And it's more upsetting to me, to be honest, because I had only agreed to myself to put in for child support the 2 days that Marco and I had been separated when we fought last. I only put it in because on the application process, I hadn't made the decision of if I was going to do it or not, because I wanted to see everything, like, before I put submit, everything it said. And before I put submit, it said that the first course of action they were going to take before any kind of court litigation came into the picture was family mediation options. In other words, they were going to bring me and Marco together before any of the paperwork gone through, and they were going to, get us to talk to see what our issues were, and that is what I wanted. Because at that time, when I left and I was mad, Marco wasn't wanting to talk to me. You know, he was in that mode, like, where he just didn't want to talk, and he was pissed off, and we can't communicate, you know, and move further in our relationship if somebody is like that, you know. So you have to communicate, and that's what I wanted. But they never offered that. That option never came up. I talked to several people within the child support office, and never once did any of them say anything about that. I told them I told a couple of them that was the only reason why I even went to get child support, was because I wanted that as an option for him to essentially be forced into a room with me to talk about our issues, you know, even though he didn't want to. That's what I wanted. And they didn't do that. Like, they didn't. He eventually, after the couple of days, like, you know, apologized on his own, and we talked, because he came on his own free will after he was calmed down and everything. So we didn't even need the child support office anymore. I didn't want child support from him. Obviously, I was going to stay with him, and I didn't need their assistance that they said they were going to offer, and they never did. So I told them, close the case, like, several times, close the case. I talked on the phone. I sent all the papers that they needed to send. I have all of that paperwork as proof that I was trying to have them close this case before it got to this point. And I chatted online. I have chats, like, I saved the screenshots of the chats of the second person that I spoke to on chat that said that it was going to be closed and whatnot, and on May the 30th that was going to be the closing date, it says there. And then we come and get sued the next month, and it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And I'm planning on fighting this back, like, hard. I'm gonna just have them drop it first. And if you want to have it drop, most of the time you can find the forms online. I don't know if every state does it, to where they give you a layout of format for how to properly do the forms that you need in order to not have it denied. Because if you don't do it in the right format, then they could you know, deny your paperwork. So most courts have them available, like the forms, or not the courts, but like there's other nonprofits out there that offer a form, you know, a basic general form. So for like a general denial, which is what I want, because I want them to close this case and not have to deal with it anymore, then I'll just put a general denial, and they have that form there for me. But I am modifying it a little bit, because I do want, in the general denial that I have, it's leaving the option open for the other party to respond, essentially. It says, I enter a general denial. I want to be notified of all hearings in this case. However, if the petitioner and I reach an agreement and I sign an agreed order in suit affecting the parent-child relationship, I agree that the judge can finalize this case without my getting notice of the hearing and without my coming to trial. So that last part is basically just put there so that if there is an agreement between the parties, that the judge can just, you know, sign off on it without having to have another hearing, you know, having to have it in court, like, okay, this is what we agreed on. If you know, both parties get the paperwork in the mail and they sign off, okay, that's fine, then the judge could just do it. That's basically why that's there. But this suit is basically me and Marco against the state, so there will be no agreement that's met as to, you know, my conservativeship or our how much money we make or whatever that they're gonna get. They don't need that information. I'm never getting their help. I haven't gotten their help, and I'm not gonna get it, and I don't need it. So there's no reason for them to have that information from us at all. And there's no need for an agreement to be signed off of, as far as you know, who's gonna have custody, or there's not gonna be some kind of order put in place. Our daughter's staying with us, and that's the bottom line. So I want this case dropped. So that's what is going to be put in there. I enter general denial. I want to be notified of all hearings in this case. That's obviously going to be there because I want to be, I want to be let known whatever the judge says. And then I'm going to put, I request a default judgment of from the judge to dismiss this case or something along those lines. I'm just gonna ask for an immediate dismissal, and then I'm gonna lay out, the reasons why, in the statement that I'm attaching to this petition, and that's pretty much the only difference, is that I'm just gonna ask for dismissal and for the judge to grant a default judgment on my behalf, on our behalf. So that's the thing that I have to change in there, and I'm gonna make it so it doesn't have all the lines like with the other children's names or whatever, because it's just my daughter. But and I'm gonna take out this part that says the warning, because I don't need that on there. But yeah, I'm basically gonna use this template to build my own personalized answer to this suit, this stupid case against us. But yeah, you can. I mean, if you're a parent that was served by your child support office in the state, or the state for whatever reason, and you get like papers like this, and you're like, oh my god, I can't afford attorney or whatever. First of all, there are a lot of nonprofits and organizations out there, and people like lawyers and stuff as well, that help people pro bono if they need it. You just have to find them. You have to look. You have to call and talk to people and see who's willing to help you. And there are also a lot of paperwork, like forms online for you to go and use as a source to help you. And you can do it yourself. Don't feel intimidated. Don't overthink it. Just read everything. Read everything that it says, and if you don't understand something, you could look it up. You could ask me here if you want to. I'll answer your questions if you have any questions about it. Just don't feel overwhelmed and like you're gonna lose your children or your child. You won't, as long as you keep track of the timeline, and you get it done, and you turn it in to the court. You show them that you're doing it, then you're not gonna lose your children. That they just want, effort being shown by parents, essentially, that they're being responsible. And if you can do this by yourself, you're gonna show some huge responsibility there. So don't be afraid. I mean, I'll obviously be pissed off because this is bullshit, but it's not the end of the world, and it'll all be good.